This is Transformers Generations Orion Pax. The figure is part of the fifth wave of the Transformers Generations figures ever since they started the Fall of Cybertron motif for the Transformers Generations figures. Here he is. If you want to see the packaging, I will be uploading a haul video soon, which I will have these guys in packaging, the entire wave. He also comes with this really nice comic book from IDW. It is a reprint of the Transformers issue number something. I can't remember. I don't really buy IDW because they're very expensive here in Manila. They cost about like $5. Yeah. No, $6. Yeah, just a little over $6. And it's a nice cover. It's drawn by Clayton Crane. Very nice. It's an exclusive Hasbro exclusive cover for IDW of Orion Pax. Now, for those of you who have no idea what cassette tapes are and who were born, who weren't born when the original Transformers cartoon was aired on TV back in the 80s. Orion Pax is actually the very young Optimus Prime. Before he became a Prime, Optimus was Orion Pax. And back in the 80s, we get a nice time-traveling episode by the aerial bots back to the old Cybertron, and they discover how Orion Pax came to be Optimus Prime. And I'm sure you guys who were born, who were kids back in the day, back in the 80s, would remember that episode. It's pretty neat. And now IDW has been publishing these comic books showing how the Transformers were back in the day. So here he is. It's a very, very nice figure. It's very difficult to sell this figure to kids. I would assume that, you know, he's not Optimus Prime. He is Orion Pax. Who's Orion Pax? He's the younger Optimus Prime. So is he our Optimus Prime or isn't he? Well, he was chosen by, in the cartoon, by, I think, Alpha Trion to become the leader of the Autobots to fight Megatron. And it's the different iterations on how Orion Pax became Optimus Prime, from being chosen by the Elders, being chosen by the Primes. But the bottom line is, he was a nobody. He was a lowly clerk, a peacekeeper. He was not a warrior. But because of his ideals, because of what he stood for, because of what he believed in, he was chosen by the higher powers to become the world's, well, Cybertron, or the galaxy's greatest Autobot. He would become the Autobot Leader, Optimus Prime. And that's what makes this figure very, very nostalgic and very, very interesting for a lot of collectors, because of the nostalgia factor he holds. And again, if you're a big fan of the comic book, you'll really want to get this figure. Size comparison. Here are my very dusty Optimus Prime, Deluxe Optimus Prime figures. As you can see, he's kind of small. I would imagine that Orion Pax was, in scale-wise, was smaller than Optimus Prime. He would become bigger when he eventually became a Prime. So in this regard, I would think that he is in the correct scale. However, having said that, the new IDW Deluxe class figures have really become very small, and Hasbro has this really sneaky way of trying to become cheap and yeah, and shrinking their figures and selling them for the same price. So very, very nice. He's got this blaster, which is, look at that. I mean, if you knew who he's going to be someday, that is so Optimus Prime. That blaster really brings back, you know, a lot of the 80s iterations of Optimus Prime's blaster. He's got an axe. If you remember, back in the 80s, Optimus Prime wielded an energy axe to fight Megatron's mace. The thing would come out and then become an axe, but in this case he would be holding it. So paint apps, yeah, they're acceptable. You know, Hasbro has trouble with yellows, and you know, the yellows tend to have some issues here and there. This metallic yellow, yeah, and the Autobot symbol being skewed. So there's slight quality issues on the paint, but not really too much that would deter you from getting in. Just pick through the shelves. This is probably the first in this particular wave. This is the first one to go for obvious reasons. So if you see this on the shelves and you really want this figure, I suggest you pick it up immediately and don't wait for it on clearance. Articulation, it's got a ball jointed neck, waist swivel, ball hinge shoulders, ratcheting elbows, bicep swivel, ball hinge, swivel wrist, and in and out because of transformation. It's got a waist swivel, ball jointed hips, thigh swivel, hinge knee. This one doesn't, oh there we go, he bends all the way like that, and ball jointed ankles. To transform him, first thing you got to do is you get the instruction booklet and you get something like this and you put them together, because this instruction booklet is full of crap, and I will show you why in a while. We will save this one for later. This thing just I'm going to show you as we transform him. I'm going to show you exactly how crappy this instruction booklet is. So anyway, first thing you want to do is you want to transform him, fold down his head, and it'll click. You're going to feel that it's going to break, but it's not. So it's a very loud click. So if you're giving this to your kid, you better teach them how to do it first time on the first go around. First time. So to raise it up is the same thing. Feels like it's gonna break, but it's not. So if you want to sort of protect the plastic, just try and push it here, transform it, let it click, and then slowly, gingerly fold it there. All right, and then fold the arms like that. Go ahead and rotate the bicep like that. Okay, now here's the tricky bit. The instructions say, I'll show you from here, it tells you to do that. From this position, to just fold up the torso like that. I mean, what the hell? Just fold it up? I mean, you know, if you're not familiar with Transformers, you could easily break it. And it took me a while to figure it out, but the best way to do it is you sort of untab the front part like that. It's going to have a loud click. You can tab it in, untab it, and then you go ahead and lift it up and fold it that way. That's how you do it. Alright, next, you go ahead and fold up the arms. I mean, even without the instructions, I think anybody who's very familiar with Transformers would be able to figure this one out. And yeah, go ahead and fold these out like that. Alright, here's another tricky bit. At this stage, alright, the instructions tell you very clearly, individually rotate the leg. What does that mean? Those two arrows tell you to rotate the thigh joint or the knee joint, whatever. But clearly, I mean, that it doesn't turn out like, I mean, no, that is not the correct instruction. For those of you who are teaching your kids how to do it, the instructions are wrong. The correct transformation should have been just one arrow telling you to rotate the waist. Now, I'm not complaining too much because, you know, it's no big deal. I just figured out just wrong instructions. Two wrong instructions. I mean, no big deal, right? You break a $13 toy, Hasbro doesn't really care. Anyway, go ahead and join that. Move this out. Rotate the ankles, that, and then fold them underneath like that. And you just keep these just like that because they're going to fold all the way up in front. And then here, just do it that way. Again, this is, I'm not going to say it's wrong, it's just incomplete. It just tells you to go from this position to just like that. And that's it. So if you're a kid, or maybe you're a parent trying to teach your kid, you just say like, alright, then what? See, but you notice there's these tabs and there's these holes. The instructions don't tell you that you need to bend the elbows just like that and connect the pegs onto the legs. Same thing here, bend it and connect it. So parents out there, you're teaching your kids, make sure you pay attention to these small details in transforming the figure, and then slowly you can sort of press the figure like that. That's that. Alright, and then go ahead and fold these panels here and join them. Instructions are pretty straightforward about this one. Just like that, and there. And there you have Orion Pax in his sort of Cybertronian truck mode, which is, you know, not that bad. I mean, it is the beginnings of what would be an Optimus Prime. Now, the instructions, again, just show you how to connect the sword. It doesn't tell you that you can connect the gun here, but I guess Hasbro thinks we're all smart enough to figure that one out. So that's it. It's pretty small in alt mode, but not too small. It's still, a lot of reviewers are saying it transforms into an alt mode that's just as big as a Scout class. It's not. It's a little bit bigger. Scout class figures are about this big. I'm sorry I don't have anything to compare it with. I forgot to get oil pan or dead end, whatever. But it's, if you see my hand, obviously it's not a Scout. It's definitely a Deluxe, but a small Deluxe at that. But still, you know, the reason this figure sells is because of the nostalgia factor it brings. I mean, everybody loves Optimus Prime, and to actually have him when he was a young teenage, very idealistic, young Cybertronian, then this is definitely a must-have. I mean, big fans of the old G1 Transformers. I mean, if you're not too caught up on just G1 toys, I mean, this is a nice update of a fantastic character that would someday become the galaxy's greatest Autobot. So there you go, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this video review. If you did, please click the thumbs up icon at the bottom. Follow me on Twitter for my latest toy purchases, Instagram for my toy sightings here in Manila, and my channels on YouTube, Chefatron and FX Franz. FX Franz will not have reviews anymore. All my reviews are going to be on the Chefatron channel from now on. FX Trans will just have the haul videos and vlogs. This has been the Transformers Generations Deluxe Class Orion Pax. Thanks for watching.